I'm not a very experienced programmer. I'm not even a game designer, but I've made at least a couple of borderline functional games on Roblox over the years that have never seen the light of day. There was one where you throw bowls at other players to knock them off the stage, this platformer where you're basically Lucio from Overwatch and switching between songs changes the way you move, and a bunch of what are pretty much interactive animations instead of full-on game concepts. But there was one game I made that decided to go beyond and actually make some sort of a name for itself in the vast sea of Roblox games at the time. A game I called My Hero Smackademia. Obviously based on My Hero Academia, Smackademia is a simple anime fighting game where you beat each other up in a big arena using the powers, or quirks, from the original series. You spawn in randomly with one of 4 quirks: One for All, Explosion, Engine, and Half Cold Half Hot. Your avatar gets to put on a cute little Halloween costume based on the character you spawn as, and you're able to perform their various moves to decimate your fellow enemy gamers. Every player you defeat awards you with status points, which progressively unlock different moves for each of the quirks. For example, Deku's full cowl ability isn't accessible until you've reached 500 status points, and later on at 5,000, you get a permanent All Might phase. The whole game was basically just an absolute nightmare of people getting sent flying, with loud anime voice clips and music in the background. Now, Smackademia got quite a bit of attention when it did back in 2018. As of right now, it has over 250,000 visits. It pretty much became my constant stream of Robux for a few years because people were still playing even after I announced I wouldn't be updating the game anymore. Which is weird, because this game isn't very good. The actual combat and gameplay part is terribly clunky and unresponsive. A lot of the moves have unnecessarily long wind-up animations. Hit registration is absolute trash. Everything is built to be played horizontally, so the verticality in some parts of the map there are like pretty much useless. Engine gameplay is insanely boring, but really powerful. If you get knocked down while in first person, or have your shift lock turn on, which you most likely will considering you can't aim without it, you're at the mercy of Roblox physics and you just fly around the entire map like a deflating balloon. It's really not polished at all, because again, like many of the things that I do, I don't actually know what I'm doing, but I guess it was still pretty fun. I don't know the current state of anime games on Roblox because I don't play them or watch anime that often anymore, but if I made Smackademia in this day and age, I doubt it would have gone as far as it did. I think the game just had some kind of charm to it that drew people in. The little hero costumes are my favorite part, honestly. That was actually inspired by Not So Bizarre Adventure, a JoJo Roblox game, where your character gets the gauntlets of the stand that you have, which was such a cool idea. Smackademia wasn't well made, but I guess it was unique enough at the time to attract a bit of an audience, which is something I never planned for. There's no way I would have been able to keep up with expectations at that point, so I just dipped shortly after. But revisiting the game after all this time made me want to work on it again. I started to come up with solutions to some of the problems I mentioned, like how to balance the quirks better, make status matter more, rework engine entirely, just really ambitious thoughts, but I've already moved on from the game. Even if I wanted to, I don't have the skill to make it happen, and there's no point in someone else taking the reins since there are already solid games like it that exist anyway. But the purpose of this video isn't trying to get people to play it again. I just wanted to acknowledge its existence and share it with you all, like my gross little roleplay baby from last year. I even found old clips from early on in development, and it's really cool seeing how everything turned out. Zero Gravity and Naval Laser were supposed to be playable quirks, and I was planning on having muscle augmentation for some sort of Juggernaut event. But yeah, that's Smackademia. I hope you enjoyed learning about it, and if you're planning to, I hope you somehow enjoy playing it. Thank you, and I love you. Bye bye.